And I
Exactly,
think
my
SRH and CSK have a similar problem. They are very, very top order reliant. Top 3 அடிச்சுதுனா சான்ஸ், அடிக்கலைன்னா சான்ஸ் இல்ல.
ஓகே பாய்ஸ், நம்ம வந்து இப்போ போஸ்ட் மேட்ச் ஃபார் ஜிடி அண்ட் எஸ்ஆர்ஹெச் ஃபேன்ஸ், நீங்க வந்து நாங்க ஒரே ட்ரெஸ் போட்டிருக்கோம்னு ஃபூல் ஆகாதீங்க. நாங்க டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைம்ஸ்ல எடுத்திருக்கோம். பட் யா, வி ஹேவ் 8 minutes on the clock பிகாஸ் ஓனருக்கு வந்து அப்கிரேடட் வெர்ஷன் ஆஃப் ஜூம் இல்ல. எனக்கு 50 சப்ஸ்கிரைபர்ஸ் வந்தீங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் நல்லா இருக்கும்.
பார்த்தா இது எல்லாமே வந்துடும்.
பட் யா,
ஜூமே தேவை.
one team I think that is giving a good competition for CSK is SRH, even though they have an amazing squad. So the Babs முன்னாடியே சொன்னேன். So where do you think SR is going wrong? Because the last time we spoke about SRH, we had a run through of what Pat Cummins should do to his team. I am not sure if he's done it. பண்ணிருக்கான இல்லைன்னு தெரியல, because the same thing has come out. We see Klaasen coming in very early. We see a 3 down 4 down batsman who has to carry the whole team for SRH. I think they're having a crisis in the power play. They're having a crisis in the top order. So Babs, what are your thoughts? Have they changed a lot or have they not done anything? Are they still sticking to the philosophy?
I mean, clearly didn't look like they were sticking to their philosophy, right? That's what it felt like to me. I think yesterday was a sign of uh, they didn't read the pitch well. That's what it looked like. The pitch was doing a lot more to them. They were struggling on the pitch, and it wasn't as fluid for their batters to move on with the ball coming onto the bat. The ball was like swinging, was slow. It wasn't coming onto the bat as it typically does for when you see an SRH pitch. And I think that's where the openers struggled. Like if you see, in fact, Abhishek Sharma was there for quite a while. He did not score much. Travis said, yeah, he kind of got out with a great catch and a great field setting in the in the in the field by GT. Brilliant execution there. But I just think I wouldn't say, hey, they lost the match in the power play, because after the power play, they still took a lot of time. They built a partnership, but just that NKR wasn't able to move on. Like he played like Vijay Shankar pretty much. அவனும் அடிக்கிறான் அடிக்கிறான் எங்கேயும் போக மாட்டேங்குது பால். So இங்க he got a couple of hits, but then he was also very slow on the field. He was just rotating singles. And at the end, when you saw, he actually got a few clean hits, but even beyond that, they were struggling on the field. And even Klaasen's hits, if you noticed, they weren't as clean as it usually is. Typically, it flies off his bat and goes off for a six, but he had like 4 or 3 shots where all of them were one bounce boundaries, which means it's not.
It was not a
Sorry.
typical Hyderabad wicket. It was a black soil wicket. It took a lot of spin. I mean, Vettori came out post-match saying this is not the pitch that he asked for. So there's something going between the HCA and the
SRH.
team management. But yeah, clearly they didn't play to the strings. The pitch didn't play to the strings at all. It played more to GT strings. And I
Exactly,
think
my.
SRH and CSK have a similar problem. They are very, very top order reliant. Top 3 அடிச்சுதுனா சான்ஸ், அடிக்கலைன்னா சான்ஸ் இல்ல. அண்ட் எஸ்ஆர்ஹெச்சோட bowling எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் சஸ் தான். கமின்ஸ் ஷமிலாம் வந்து அந்த டே போகும் எல்லாம் 40 ரன் 4 ஓவர்ல கொடுக்குற போலர்ஸ் தான். அண்ட் ஐ டோன்ட்
Yesterday நேத்து
அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட்
ஒழுங்கா
வை தே
போட்டிருக்காங்க.
மெண்டஸ். ஏன்னா ஜாம்பா could have provided a lot more stability. மெண்டிஸ் என்ன ஆஃபர் அவங்க பார்க்கறாங்க எனக்கு இன்னும் போகல.
That's one point that I also wanted to bring up, right? The team combination only change they have to do is get Kamindu Mendus out, because he's clearly not that sort of a batsman. We've seen that. அவன் தூக்கி தூக்கி காத்துல அடிச்சிடறான். But also that the pitch does not account for that sort of batting here. In this pitch, you have to keep it to the ground. You have to play a Rutu or a Gill or a Sai Sudarshan innings here. And the ones that you're hitting up in the air, you have to hit it in the gap. Essentially, that's what Washington Sundar was doing. He was just picking gaps. எப்ப பார்த்து ஆஃப்ல போட்டா ஓடி போய் லெக்ல அடிச்சிட்டு இருந்தான், தள்ளிட்டு இருந்தான் லெக்ல. I think they just played a little smarter, more so than hitting hard shots. So அதுவும் வந்து things to notice there. Yeah, I think Zampa has to come in. Kamindu Mendes has to like sit out. That's the only change that I would potentially share for SRH. But other than that, they are not that sort of a team, right? This pitch doesn't do well for them, doesn't bode well for them. So they have to figure out what they have to do with the pitch. And
அவங்க
if this is
ஓவரால்
going to be the pitch, they'll have to expect an Ishan Kishan or even Klaasen to play a different sort of an innings. Both of them are not giving those innings. They are somehow getting out cheaply.
I think
That's what it's
Klaasen
looking.
is more used to getting in the last 7 overs, 6 overs, but he's coming in too early right now. அவனுக்கு அந்த ஒரு கம்ஃபர்ட் ஜோன் வந்து அதை தாண்டி தான் ஆடுறான் அவன், which is, I mean, he still has to play, but I think this is not something that he would want to ideally be in a situation for.
2 things before we close. ஒன்று வந்து ஐ வாண்டட் டு ஆட் கமிங் டு T20 ஸ்ட்ரைக் ரேட் அரௌண்ட் 120s தான் இருக்கு. அவன் ஹைதராபாத் செட்டப் ஃபுல்லாக அவனை என்னவா பார்க்குறாங்கன்னு எனக்கு புரியல. அவனை போலராக பார்க்குறாங்களோ, போலர் ஹூ கேன் பேட்னா
அவனை வந்து ஒரு தீபக் ஹூடாவா பாக்குறாங்க.
அவன் அந்த மாதிரி தான் ஆடிட்டு இருக்கான். செகண்ட் பாயிண்ட்
இல்ல கண்டினியூ சரி
இல்ல சொல்லு ஏன்னா
இல்ல
செகண்ட் பாயிண்ட் நம்ம
நான் ஒரு இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பாயிண்ட் பேசணும்னு வரேன். I think we have to give credit where it's due. We spoke about GT's batting being, touch players. They just know how to play, how to adapt better to the field, because they're not the players who whack hard, except for Sherfay and Rutherford and maybe Rahul Tewatia. But the others are all like players who can just place it across the field and find the gaps. Right? So good credit to their batting and their adaptability to the pitch. I think credit has to be given there to the batting side. But beyond that, I have to give credit to Ashish Nehra and the bowling unit. They're doing a commendable job. They're setting the fields perfectly to the batsmen. சாய் கிஷோர்லாம் கண்ணா பின்னான்னு போட்டுட்டு இருக்கான். அவன் கிளீனா போட்டுட்டு இருக்கான். சில பால் கிரிப் ஆகுது, சில பால் ஸ்லைட் த்ரூ ஆகுது. அதுல தான் கிளாசன் மாட்டினான். அப்புறம் ஃபிளைட்லயே அவன் பீட் பண்றான். And choosing the lanes also. Like Sai was choosing 2-3 different lanes if you noticed. Around the wicket வந்தானா அப்படியே அந்த வைட் லைன் கிட்ட ஒன்னு யூஸ் பண்ணினா, இல்லனா ஹீஸ் bowling into the body. So if it grips, he gets purchase. If it doesn't grip, it will go through and it can knock off your leg stump. Literally, that's what happened to Klaasen. So, and especially in the situation where they had to go for the hits, that's when Sai Kishore is a little more attacking than otherwise. Otherwise, you can still play.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Sai Kishore ஒரு ஸ்பின்னர் எப்படி T20ல இன்னும் கிளாசிக்கல் bowling போர்டு எடுக்கலாம்ன்ற எக்ஸாம்பிள் சாய் கிஷோர் தான். பட் ஆனா ஐ ஜஸ்ட் ரிமெம்பர் த பாயிண்ட் தட் ஐ வாண்டட் டு ஆட். ஆனா வாட் ஐ வாண்டட் டு சே வாஸ் ஐ எசென்ஷியலி ஆனா டோன்ட் அக்ரி வித் அந்த கிளாஸ் என்ட்ரி பாயிண்ட் நீங்க பேசுனீங்கல்ல. ஐ திங்க் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் த பெஸ்ட் T20 players.
Yeah.
So I think our earlier entry point is okay. It is just that he's yet to find his rhythm. But our 6 or 7 hour entry point, you want a best batter to face the maximum number of balls.
Yeah, agreed. Same
So I think he just hasn't found his mojo yet, but I'm sure he'll come good this tournament as it progresses.
See, one thing that I noticed also is Gill using his bowlers is very, very crucial. GT la pathina, they only bowl five bowlers.
Producer ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாரு அவரோட வேலையை.
இல்ல அது just ஒரு 1 second delay தான். So GT la pathina, they had Washi, but he did not bowl, but yet they only bowled with 5 bowlers. Ishan Sharma last over தவிர fairly Mukesh Choudhury but much better அவன். But still, that confidence for a captain to depend on only 5 people, even though he had an extra, it's not about extra. Washington Sundar is a very good bowler in T20. So, அதை யூஸ் பண்ணாம போட்டிருக்கிறது, I think, I feel that's, as a captain, is matured. தெரியுது ஒரு நிமிஷம் இருக்கு. இது வந்து ஆட் பண்ணலாம் நான் ஃபீல் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். ஸோ இட்ஸ் a good sign. ஓகே பாய்ஸ், நம்ம வந்து போஸ்ட் மேட்ச் பார்ப்போம்.
Yep.